Council should provide a united face to the community in our major decisions, and this is certainly probably the most major decision that we'll make during my term of office. So it's particularly true for our choice of the person who will manage our city. However, in a city manager form of government, the roles between the City Council and the City Manager are clearly defined. The City Council is responsible for establishing our laws and policies. The City Manager is responsible for implementing those laws and policies. We as council members have no direct input into any hiring or firing decisions, nor in the day-to-day operations of City Hall. We can only advise. That is why the City Manager must fully understand the distinction between the laws passed by Council and Council's clear policy directives, and the administration of these laws and policies. I find that the majority's choice, Kevin Baity, does not appear, or has not in the past appeared, to understand those distinctions and our respective responsibilities. Specifically, he has a history of permitting land and other uses that directly violate our zoning, sign, and other ordinances, and in overriding our professional staff who, in some cases, refuse to follow his orders to permit illegal uses. When asked to explain himself, he was less than honest with me, as well as in his official statements and statements to the media. But I respect my other council members whose judgment might differ from mine in terms of the weight they give to these factors. Kevin certainly has, Mr. Baity certainly has a range of talents and skills that led them to decide that he was the best person for this office. And I respect their judgment, even though it differs from mine in this important way. We have too much on our plate for this to divide us. I look forward to working with the next city manager and my fellow council people in the future. And in fact, I've already been working with Mr. Monty on planning a neighborhood meeting that will be talking about the disposition of the armory. So I think our working relationship in the future will be quite a good one, and I look forward to that. So thank you very much.
As we started the process of selecting the city manager, Mr. Baity was not my first choice. Wasn't my last either. I had an opportunity to address my concerns about all the candidates. We carefully examined all the candidates. We looked at all their qualifications, their backgrounds, their experiences. In some cases, we saw issues that indicated the persons weren't suitable for our position. Certainly one of the principal things we were looking for was somebody who had a familiarity with the university community. And frankly, a lot of the applicants didn't. A concern I had with Mr. Baity was handling a couple issues under the zoning ordinance. I disagreed with his decisions. He has publicly admitted to making a mistake. I've had a long talk with him and explained that in my view, we need to continue to encourage business, but we must place neighborhood protection as a higher goal. I believe that Mr. Baity understands this. I concluded that given all the circumstances and the pool of applicants, that at this time it would be best for the city of Carbondale to approve Kevin Baity as our city manager. It's clear he has a strong attachment to the community, and he sincerely desires to do what will be best for the community. As is always the case, it will be up to the city council to provide policy guidance to the city manager to assure that the community's goals and aspirations are being met. Thank you, Your Honor.
The search for a new city manager had its ups and downs, twists and turns, somewhat similar to the recent Iowa Republican caucuses, but not quite as dramatic. One of the 12 finalists was selected for a job in Colorado, which he had been seeking for some time. One candidate decided that a city manager was no longer his career choice, and one interviewed finalist decided the move to Carbondale was not the right fit at this time in her life. Any of the three candidates introduced to the community at the public reception had the qualifications and abilities to serve as Carbondale's next city manager. For anyone stepping into that position, there will be a learning period. We now have someone familiar with Southern Illinois and the city of Carbondale. Carbondale is at a crossroads with many challenges ahead. Grant and other resources from the federal and state levels will become increasingly more difficult to obtain at both levels of government, as both levels of government try to balance their own budgets and tighten their belts. And we are experiencing more competition for retail trade and economic growth on a regional and local basis. Therefore, I give support to Kevin Baity as Carbondale's next city manager, and hope we can work together in developing a strategic plan to progressively move Carbondale forward. Thank you.
Okay, back to me. First of all, I want to say that Kevin has always followed the orders of his superiors. Basically, his own boss was the city manager. To my knowledge, he always followed Mr. Gill's directions, so there's no question as to that. I guess another topic that came up is the disposition of the Army, which it's not up to the city council, so I just want to make that clear. It's actually up to the governor. And also, there was a statement that was put out that the Army will be sold on January 20th. That is not correct either. It is actually, then it's still up to the governor. The bids are open until the 20th, and then the governor actually reviews those. He can pick anyone he wants. He can throw them all out. He can give the armory to whoever he wants. So I just want to make that clear as well. And that's actually something that Mr. Baity and I have been talking about with other organizations here in town. I want to point out also that I feel that Mr. Baity is the top choice. Actually, when this whole process started, I approached a few of the council members and said, you know, Kevin's been here for a while. I mean, he knows what's going on. He knows the outlays. He's invested in the community. His family's here. This is where he's going to stay. Do we really want to spend $20,000 on a search when we can make him the interim and see how things go for a while? But they said, let's see what's out there. So we proceeded to see what was out there and came to the conclusion that Mr. Baity is our #1 choice. It was a very tough choice, especially with our 4 finalists, and I think we all agreed when we got done interviewing the 4, it's like, well, we really like this about that person, we like that about that person. It would have been nice to take parts of each of them and mold them all together, which obviously isn't possible. So, and Mr. Baity and I are glad he's here. We work well together. Obviously, he has made mistakes. I've made mistakes. I don't know anybody else in the audience that hasn't made a mistake. We're all human. We've had some good conversations and set the course. Actually, at our next council meeting on January 17th, we'll have a closed session where Mr. Baity will present to us what he wants to do in the first 100 days, and then also the council will discuss with him what we'd like to have done in the first 100 days. So we are on track to get things rolling. So I don't have to spend as much time here as I have been in the last 8 months. So, I don't know if that'll happen, but always wishful thinking. So again, I just want to say I'm very thankful for the services Mr. Baity has provided the last 5 years for the city, and I look forward to a long tenure working with him. So with no further ado, would the clerk please call? We have a first and second to approve this ordinance to go into execute an employment agreement with Mr. Baity. Will the clerk please call roll?
Councilman Chrisman.
Yes.
Councilman Monty.
Yes.
Councilwoman Adams. No. Councilman Jack.
Yes.
Councilman Fronabarger.
Yes.
Councilwoman McDaniel.
Yes.
Mayor Fritzler.
Yes. That passes with 6